So first thing we got to do is plot MNO, my pre-image triangle. I'm going to label this one as triangle number 1. 10, negative 8. I'm going to go 10 on the X, negative 8 on the Y. That's M. N is at 6, negative 2, right there. And O is at, what, 1, negative 2? No, 2, negative 4. There's point O. Making sure that I'm using my ruler to get nice straight lines. And you guys don't have rulers right now, but that's okay. Tomorrow on the test you'll have one. And inside this red triangle, I'm going to write the number 1, because that's my first triangle. That's where I'm starting out. All right? The very first transformation we're going to do is a dilation by a scale factor of 1/2. Are we going to get larger or are we going to get smaller then? We're going to get smaller. Can someone help me out? What's my rule for this dilation going to be? Yeah, it's nice and simple. X times 1/2, Y times 1/2. And you're just filling in the blank with whatever your scale factor is. This dilation is going to give me triangle number 2. All right? All we got to do is multiply. We take a look at point M. M is at 10, negative 8. If I multiply 10 by 1/2, what would I get? What's half of 10? 5. What's half of 8? Negative 4. Good. That's going to be my M prime. 5, negative 4. I go over to 5. I go down to 4. There's a little bit of overlap there, but that is all right. M prime is the label. So it's right inside that red triangle. But I go to point N. 6. Half of 6 would give me 3. What's half of negative 2, though? Negative 1. Good. I saw some zeros as I was walking around yesterday. Make sure we know that half of 2 would be 1. So 3, negative 1 is my N prime. I go over to 3. I go down to 1. Boom. N prime. Making sure we're labeling every single point on our graph. Finally, half of 2 gives me 1. Half of negative 4 gives me negative 2. 1, negative 2 is my O prime. And I can connect those dots together to get my new tiny little triangle number 2. I'm going to write a 2 in the middle there so we know. It's my second triangle. So now that we've shrunk this triangle down, we do not want to go back to our original big triangle. We want to keep using this small triangle for the next couple of transformations. My next transformation being a reflection. I'm going to do this one in green. I'm going to get triangle number 3. If I'm reflecting on the x-axis, what's my algebraic rule going to be? Thank you, sir. X, negative y. What this rule tells us is that I'm going to look at my point, my previous point, M prime. The original M and O doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to look at my triangle number 2. And my x coordinate stays exactly the same. 5 remains as 5. But what do I do with my y coordinate? Flip the sign. Negative 4 is going to turn into what? Positive 4. I go over to 5. I go up to 4. Boom. There is my M double prime. Now the other way we can do this, if you remember, is to use the graph and count. So if I'm at point N, here's my line of reflection, this x-axis. I'm going to count how many spaces away from that axis I am. 1 space. And then I count that same number of spaces directly past that line of reflection. Boom. There's my N double prime. At, what are the coordinates for that point? 3, 1. And that follows the same exact pattern we just did. My x coordinate 3 stays the same. My y-coordinate gets flipped around this time to a positive as well. For O prime, I'm going to keep my 1 as a 1, but my negative 2 is going to get flipped into a positive 2. O prime is going to be at 1, 2, right there. And we've got triangle number 3 after a reflection across the x-axis. I'm going to put a little 3 inside. Boom. That's what we get. Again, we're not going back to the large triangle. Once we shrink it, it's shrunk. We're going to use that small triangle to keep moving. Now we move on to triangle 4. Triangles 1 and 2. Oh, yeah, I forgot to label it. Thank you. O double prime. Good catch. So now we're moving on to triangle 4. We're going to translate this green triangle number 3. 10 units left and 3 units up. Can someone volunteer to help me out to write this rule? Brianna, go for it. Perfect. Why did you subtract 10 from x, Brianna? Because we're going to the left. And if we look at my x-axis, the left side is all negative numbers. So if I'm going 10 units left, I'm subtracting 10. But why did I add the 3 to the y? That's right, because we're going up. If you look at the y-axis, my numbers that are on the up side, I guess the top of my axis, are all positive. So if I'm going 3 units up, I'm going to add 3. And again, there's 2 ways for us to do this one as well. The most common way is to just count. If I'm at m double prime here, I'm going to count 10 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 3 units up. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to give me m triple prime at the coordinates, what? Negative 6, no. Negative 5, 7, right? Yeah, that looks right to me. Yep, negative 5, 7. So that's one way to do it, just counting on the graph. Nice and easy. Another way we could do it, again, is to just use the rule. N double prime is at 3, 1. I'm going to take my x-coordinate 3, subtract 10, and get what? Negative 7. Awesome. Then I take my y-coordinate 1. Y plus 3 is just 1 plus 3, which leaves me with 4. Thank you. Go over to negative 7. Go up to 4. There's my n. Now we're in triple prime. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Okay, wait, hold on. For me, I got like...
For n triple prime, you got negative 7. Okay, yeah, that's because we didn't go 3 spaces up, that's all. So you just slid it 10 units to the left. We've got to also do 3 spaces up.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all right. Happens all the time. Yeah, moves it. Yeah, give me a second. Go ahead. So then the last one, O double prime, 1, 2. If I take 1 and subtract 10, I get negative 9. If I take 2 and add 3, I get 5. Negative 9 up to 5. So my O triple prime, I kind of muddied up the labels, but that's all right. And there's my triangle number 4. Did I label this right? I did not label this right. There we go. N triple prime should be on the bottom, O on the left, M on the top. Just like that. So again, with each of these different transformations, you could just use the rule. apply it to your points, and then plot the points. Or you could plot the points, count the rule out on your graph, and then just write down what the coordinates are. When it comes to the test tomorrow, I do not care which one you do. Like I've been saying this entire unit, whichever method is more comfortable for you and easier to understand in your mind is what I want you to do. My last, Essence, what's up? When she comes back. My last one, rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise. That's rule number 2 from our notes. And what's that rule state? Anyone got it? Negative y, comma, x. If we're going counterclockwise, negative y, comma, x is my rule. Y, comma, negative x would be if we're going clockwise. Go ahead, Essence. Right? So if we're applying this rule, you could use the slide. I would recommend against using the slide just because the expo markers are kind of on the thicker side, so it's hard to get a nice precise point. It's easier to shift off like 1 or 2 spaces. So I would use the rule. Here's how we do that. We bring the y coordinate in the front. My y coordinates now are 7, 4, and 5. I'm going to bring those to the front and flip them. So 7 becomes negative 7, 4 becomes negative 4, and 5 becomes negative 5. My x coordinates do not get flipped, but they do get swapped to the back. So negative 5 goes to the back and stays negative 5. Negative 7 goes to the back. Negative 9 goes to the back. Now I have 3 points that I can plot pretty easily. Negative 7, negative 5, negative 4, negative 7.
That's not what I got.
Is that, what did I do wrong? Did I do it wrong?
Oh wait, we probably just did that. We probably did the thing with the expo marker, and then the chart, then flipped, and then.
I got you. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you're using the slide, chances are you're going to make a mistake, which, like I've said before, the slide is just training wheels for us to understand what we're doing. I'm pretty sure I did that right. Yeah, that's right. Negative 7, negative 5, negative, yeah, okay. So negative 7, negative 5 is m quadruple prime.
Okay, what I got was like negative 4, negative 1, and then negative 2.
Okay, so like I said, did you use the slide here? Okay, that's probably right. Also, the rule needs to be flipped to negative y, comma, x.
I thought it was negative x and then negative y.
That would be if we're doing 180 degrees. It's all right. It's just a different rule. Hold on one sec. Essence, when she comes back, you can go. Negative 4, negative 7, n quadruple prime, and then negative 5, negative 9. Oh.